Welcome to Podcast 83, a regular look at the news, stories, and trends related to Michigan's 83 counties from the Michigan Association of Counties.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Podcast 83, the podcast put on by the Michigan Association of Counties. My name is Stephan Currie. I'm the Executive Director of MAC, and today we are joined by Amy Dolinky, who really is the brains behind our Opioid Resource Center. We've had Amy on before. There's been, it's been a while. There's been changes in the opioid settlement funds. So we want to have Amy back on just to kind of give us an update on what's been happening in this world and some of the things she's been working on and places she's been presenting. So Amy, welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem. So let's get right into it, Amy. So tell us a little bit about what's new in the world of opioids, what you've been working on lately. Let's kind of just start there and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so we are still offering our existing individualized technical assistance to county governments on their opioid settlement funds. What's changed is really that we went from supporting counties mostly in planning efforts, and now many counties are spending or in the process of executing contracts with grantees or vendors. And so we're really kind of transitioning to looking more at assessing the impact of the dollars, how folks are reporting and monitoring, and considerations around transparency as well. Last year, MAC was able to work with Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health to adapt MAC's guidance on transparency to create the national guidance on transparency related to settlements, or one of the quick guides that we've seen come out to really support counties in their efforts related to these funds. So we're seeing a bit of a transition, but still providing support as we know that each county is really in a different place. We're also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We're also involved in the National Association of Counties Opioid Solutions Leadership Network, which used to only include specific folks from county government, but has really expanded to include county associations, statewide associations. And we've been able to participate and present in DC on the work that we're doing to help other associations provide support to their members.
Yes, because really we're one of the unique associations, right? That's providing the service. Can you talk a little bit about that? What the outlook is at other state associations or other states across the country, and maybe what some of the goals of this NACO program are?
Yeah, so specifically the 3 states associations that presented at this conference were North Carolina, Kentucky, and Michigan. And it's really important for the other states to see our 3 very distinct and unique models for providing these supports, to understand that these services don't have to be provided within a specific framework. So based on the reporting requirements in that state, based on funding for positions like mine, and based on the ways in which the statewide associations are working with both local government and state government, can really impact the supports that are provided. So we were able to really highlight 3 distinct models for how those services can be done, whether that's an individual providing the support or a team providing that support to members, can really make a difference. And there's a lot of other considerations in this work that we were able to talk to the group about as well.
Yeah, when we start looking at in-state, who are some of the other partners that we've been working with, other organizations, councils? There's legislative groups, there's other groups. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the landscape in the opioid world right now?
Yeah, so I think one of our biggest partnerships at MAC has been with MML and MTA to host our local government learning community, as there really wasn't a space for all local government officials and settlement designees to really come together to learn about the settlement space, to share with each other about what's taking place. So that's been a really meaningful partnership at MAC. We also work with the Department of the Attorney General here in Michigan and meet with them on a regular basis to make sure that we have updated legal information, updated information about settlements, and can get that information out to our membership as quickly as possible. We also work with the Department of Health and Human Services. That partnership has looked different over time. And the biggest piece of that partnership is with a state-funded program called the Technical Assistance Collaborative, providing additional support to county governments and city and township governments as well, specifically related to community or needs assessment, evaluation planning support, and then some additional webinars around topics related to allowable uses outlined in Exhibit E, the legal document in the settlement, which highlights all of the information about where funds can be used.
Right, and through some of those partnerships with specifically DHHS and mainly internally here, though, we've done some surveying recently, but while we've done it a year ago, we survey here at the time of this recording, it's still open, but once this airs, it'll be closed out. So we're looking to kind of get an update, right, on that survey where people were a year ago to now, correct?
Absolutely. So this is really the third survey, third kind of annual survey that's going out to counties specifically. And the first year was really that baseline assessment, a better understanding of what local needs are. And in order to both update or at that time build our dashboard for the Opioid Settlement Resource Center, but also customize the services and technical assistance offerings that we can provide. And we really want to change our services as the needs of the field change, as the settlement progresses, or the multitude of settlements progress. And so the first year was that baseline assessment. Second year was the first annual survey, a more standardized version of that to really understand how folks are planning and how they're spending, not specific expenditures, but what buckets are folks funding in. And then this year being able to, again, see where that comparison is over time.
Yeah, and as we start looking out over the year, obviously, once we get some of these results, that'll help us shape some of the messaging or education we're putting out there. Outside of that, what do you see kind of over the next 6 months? What we may be providing, what counties' needs may be. What are you starting to hear already?
So I think the first thing is we were able to release a document that outlined the Brown-Greer, the National Settlement Administrator, reporting requirements and spending requirements. So historically, we've talked about the settlements as kind of having the same requirements, but we do know they all have a bit of nuance in there. So releasing that document allows folks to see the slight differences between each of those. And that Brown-Greer reporting is really underway. So counties are required to report every 6 months for most settlements on any expenditures that do not align with the legal definition of opioid remediation. So really making sure that we're focusing more on the nuance at this point related to each settlement, making sure that folks have what they need to get information back from the folks that they're giving money out to, so they can really understand how those dollars are making an impact in their community. We know that metrics like overdose fatalities or non-fatal overdose aren't necessarily tied to just these funds. And so choosing the appropriate and meaningful metrics for those services can really help folks spend in future years. And then again, transparency is going to be kind of one of the biggest components here moving forward, recognizing that the public is continuing to seek information from their local governments, and recognizing that that transparency can help in future decision making.
Great. So let's talk a little bit nationally now. You talked a little bit about the NACO group that you're working with. Are there any other groups nationally that you're working with or presentations you may be doing?
So we do have a lot of partnerships at the national level. I think this Opioid Solutions Leadership Network Ambassador Group is really going to bring some insight into how folks are providing services in other states, what their biggest challenges are. We previously talked about the survey, and we worked with many other states and organizations like Vital Strategies to be able to make sure that our survey could be something where we could really gauge the appropriate information. Reporting is a really complex topic, and we're seeing struggles with that around the country. So through NACO, through that work, I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring in some additional information, some new tools and resources. All of us working in the settlement space are sharing tools and documents, webinars with each other to be able to then get that out to membership.
Yeah, and of course, all those resources are available on our website, our updated new website. It's still the same URL address at www.micounties.org, and it's under our Opioid Settlement Resource Center. All this information is available there. Amy's contact information. Amy, is there anything else you wanted to touch on that maybe I didn't touch on?
I think just the final thing is, in order to gauge our membership needs a bit more, we started providing office hours on Tuesdays from 9 to 10. Anyone can pop in to get brief questions answered. Otherwise, of course, we respond to technical assistance requests in the opioid settlement space within a 24-hour period. So always able to provide those supports as folks need them. And there's no question too big or too small.
Yeah, and we're offering this service for all our MAC members. So just another service we're providing to our membership, so they can make sure they're well informed and doing the best for their community. So thank you for your time today, Amy. Thanks for joining us. Take care, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Podcast 83.